So
Well,
the truck's fixed, huh?
we are back. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. No, I'm okay. It's fat. I'm back. I got it. I'm out 5Gs, but I got it back. So this has been a roller fucking coaster of a goddamn experience. Okay. So
I'd rather be out 5 Gs than be out fucking 20 Gs. You know what I mean?
it was 11 quoted without the extended warranty covering the half of it. But I started having issues with it. It was like giving weird fucking shifts. It would go into high rev, shift late, not shift, like you get stuck in gears or what and all that shit, right? So obviously something's fucking wrong. So I take it to the shop that I go to, have them diagnose it, trying to figure out what's going on with it. They're like, well, we're getting these readings on our scanner and whatnot. But, and I didn't know this at the time, there's currently an open recall for the transmission, but like an internal thing for the transmission. And my extended warranty isn't going to cover anything until I get the recall done first. Cause for all we know, the recall is the one that's is causing the issue. So I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck me. I got to go to the damn dealership. But I go to these guys all the time. They're real cool. They and I'm at work when they call me, so they went ahead and just took the truck to the dealership for me because it was right down the street. I didn't have to go do it myself. Dealership calls me, but issue is not that they can or can't do the work. The issue is their particular transmission mechanics are 2 months behind on their work. So they can't even look at my truck just to diagnose anything for 2 months on the low end.
Yeah,
that means it could take longer than 2 months to just even look at my
sucks.
goddamn truck. So I was like, okay, so can you give me like a loaner or something like that? Because just like you and your people who have real jobs to support your families in the real world, I too have what's called a real job to support my family in the real world. Like what am I supposed to do for upwards of 2, 3, whoever fucking knows how many months here, right? And they're like, no, we don't have any loaners. I'm just like, okay, what the fuck here? Like, insurance isn't going to cover a rental car for this because I'm not doing an insurance claim. Like, so only reason why I'm semi getting through this is because my wife thankfully works from home. So I'm taking her Jeep at the time. But again, it still kind of makes it hard because if she needs to like run errands or do anything, like she's kind of screwed because then our daughter is at school, at college and she drives. So, we're still kind of having an issue here. But daughter's boyfriend, his dad, he's really cool. He's got an old Dodge that he lets us borrow. Now this is a really old Dodge. And he
What do you mean
lets
old?
us,
Like how old?
like his first truck old. It's got sentimental
Like
value. So
like
I did
80s?
I couldn't, no, not that old, like 90s. So like late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh fuck. That's not
but
old.
what I'm saying is it's been around the block a time or two or 10. Like, it's got a lot of miles on it and it's got a lot of love in the seats. You know what I mean?
Definitely got a broken dash. Cracked as fuck dash.
100%. It's one of those vehicles where like, here, I have to show you how to properly turn it off so you don't kill the battery. You know what I mean? It's one of those types of things. And you have to make sure you turn the AC off or otherwise all the way off. Otherwise it'll kill the battery. Like it's one of those types of situations. You have to do the correct turn of the knobs and the correct turn of the key to make sure that everything goes right. So while I'm taking
so it's a badass shit
Destiny's Jeep to work, yeah. So I'm taking Destiny's Jeep to work every day. She has the truck here just in case she needs to go do something locally because he said, like he's like, it should make it to your work, but I probably wouldn't recommend you driving it to work every day. I was like, no, no worries. I'm gonna take her Jeep to work. It's just if she needs it for, to run an errand or two or go somewhere locally or to an appointment, in the area, then she'll have the truck. And, he's letting us, he said, I don't use it. I just have it for sentimental value. You guys use it as long as you need to. I was like, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. She used it a couple times, but the one time that she goes a little bit further than any other time, because she goes to Fort Worth for a dental appointment, I think it was, and it's not that far from my work, and it was close to the end of the day when I'm about to get off, and she is driving, and it dies in an intersection,
Oh shit.
and I was like, "Fuck me." So I call. She's letting me know, and she's like blowing me up, but I'm in the middle of a fucking meeting, and I was like, and I send her a voicemail, and I text her like, "Hey, I'm in a meeting. I cannot pick up right now." She's like, "The truck broke
Mhm.
down." I was like, "Fuck me!" Like, so I was like, give me 10 minutes. I have to finish this meeting. Like it's like the one thing I had. The funny thing is that was the one thing that I had to do that day, and that was when everything happened. Like that was literally the one thing I had to do that day. So, um, and after I wrapped that up, told my boss like, "Hey, I gotta go. Wife broke down." Luckily, a cop rolled by and helped her get it out of the intersection into a parking lot. And it was one of those situations where it's like, you let it sit for a minute, uh, alternate charge it back up, and eventually start it back up. But we went ahead and let it sit on jumper cables and everything. And I was
Mhm.
like, "Here, let me drive it." And so hopped in it, took off. I stayed off the freeway. We were staying on the feeder, and I get right up to about a red light, and it fucking died again. But it didn't just die; it started overheating and it started smoking. I
Oh
was like,
shit.
"Motherfucker, dude!" And I couldn't. And the thing is, though, is like I was like 20 yards away from turning off of the feeder, and I was done. Could not get it started again because it was too hot and the battery was like done again. So I had to let it cool down. I had to turn it off and let it just kind of sit there for a second. I'm sitting on the feeder, and I have hazards on. She has her hazards on, and people still get behind us and don't pay attention. So I'm standing out there next to her, and I'm waving people around, and people are looking at me like, I wonder why this guy is standing on the side outside of his vehicle. I'm just going to sit here in my car and wait till he does something. I'm like, do you really think I would be standing outside next to my wife's Jeep if and you think you're going to sit there in your vehicle with your blinker on like everything's just going to move a fine? Like, go the fuck around, you idiot. So eventually I was able to get the truck started in and I called the tow trucks, called the tow truck, towed it to back to the boyfriend's house. His dad looks at it and he was like, "Well, I mean, it worked just fine for me." I was like, "I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't want to fucking burn it up on you." You know what I mean? but but he gets it all fixed up, right? And so keep driving the truck. And at this point, we're at about like week 4 of my truck being at a new dealership, because I picked it up and I took it to another dealership because I was like, I'm not waiting 2 months for you to just look at my goddamn truck.
Mhm.
So I took it to another dealership. Unfortunately, I had to take it to Dallas. So I'm driving over an hour to this dealership in Dallas to drop it off because they were caught up on transmission work. Took them about 2 weeks to get in there, look at it and everything. Unfortunately, the recall was not the issue. So I was like, fuck, can't get Ford to pay
Never
for it.
is.
So, and they're like, all right, well, they're $11,000. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, is that with my extended warranty? They're like, oh, we haven't called them. I was just calling to let you know. I was like, well, don't call me before you know, dude. I don't want to know
Oh
that number.
yeah.
I'm not paying that. Like,
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
he calls the extended warranty, and they start working everything, right? Uh, I, First time I hear back. Now the dealership, in all intents and purposes, has been just fine. Any issue I had was with the extended warranty. Um, guy I talked to at the dealership, he called me. I want to say probably about a week later, and was saying, "Hey, I just heard back from the extended warranty. Now I knew this was coming, but this was my first issue that I called the extended warranty, and I rose hell because they said that, you know, all right, we have the diagnosis report and everything from the dealership. We're going to send an inspector out to confirm the findings. Just totally expecting that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, they want to be like, "I we want to make sure that the diagnosis is right." But this is what they did. We want the mechanics to tear down the fucking transmission and tear it apart so they can see the internal failure. And I have to pay for the entire labor out of pocket for the uninstall and tear down of that transmission, which was $3,000. That
Shit.
was going to be on my dime just to get it inspected. And this isn't mean it's even going to be approved at this point. And the fucking, rep calls and tells me this. I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. Don't do anything. I'll call you back. So I call the warranty company, talk to a guy. Guy that I talked to was very helpful, and I keep my cool until I don't need to anymore. I told him, I was like, "Hey, I'm told that you guys need to send an inspector out there to confirm the findings of the dealership." He's like, "Yes, sir. That's a pretty standard process." I was like, "I have no issue with that. I was expecting that. That's not my issue with it." He's like, "Okay, sir. Well, what's the problem?" I was like, "Well, my problem is this," and I laid it out. I was like, "I don't see how you find that fair and equitable under your terms of agreement that I have to pay $3,000 out of my own money just to have your guy confirm the findings of what they have already said without all of that done based off of their scans and readings and everything like that." And this isn't even to a point where you've even approved it yet. I may have to be out $3,000 for something that you may not even be approved. Tell me
Yeah.
how this is you taking care of your customers, because this seems a little bit like you're just trying to make me lose money. This isn't even money to you. This is money to the dealership, this is why I don't understand this process. And so he starts, tippity typing away, and he's like, "Let me call my Ford expert." Puts me on hold and calls back, and he's like, "Okay, sir, we're actually going to do this, this, and this." And it was less than an hour of labor versus like 17 hours of labor they were asking for. I was like,
Shit.
Tell me you haven't had this call 100 times before and knew exactly what to do, but yet it's probably because they don't have people with the balls to call and stand up to them. Cause like,
Yeah.
no, you can go fuck yourself. Cause think
They were
about it.
just trying to make money.
Well, the thing is though, is this money doesn't go to them.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't make sense. Cause this would have gone to the dealership.
Fuck.
But see,
I don't
this
know.
is one of those things where like, if the guy at the dealership would have been, I guess like a good soul to call me, then they would have just made a bunch of money.
Oh
But he
yeah.
was like, he was good enough to call me to kind of tell me like, "Hey, they're trying to rip you off." And again, it's not even them that's trying to rip me off. They're just not being good at their job. So got that cleared up. And then but then this is where it really pissed me off. They get all the information that they needed from that. And then my claim sat there for over a week with nothing. Whoever submitted my claim just like disappeared from the planet
No
and did
shit.
nothing. Requested quotes from vendors and all this stuff, but nothing. I called twice, and ironically, the same person that I called cause when you call for updates, that doesn't mean you're always getting the person who submitted the claim. I actually ended up with the same person twice. The first time he was telling me, I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand why this isn't already done. It should already be done. I'm not the one that submitted it. So, but again, let me, route this up and let me see what I can do for you. But, this should not be taking this long. But hopefully we can get an answer for you soon. So, that was the first time. The second time I got that guy again, and he was like, and this was like, like 4 days later, he was like, I think I talked to you last time. I was like, I'm pretty sure you did. And he was like, and you still haven't heard anything? I was like, no, this is still sitting at the same spot that you left me at 4 days ago. He's like, okay, hang on. And he puts me on hold. He gets with the supervisor, and in real time, he is like, me and my supervisor just did a forced claim takeover. So he took it over so he can like make it happen. And then like next day, they had everything to the last step that just needed my approval, meaning, okay, hey, because per the contract, if they find a used or remanufactured part, they have the right to provide that versus paying for a brand new one, which obviously the dealership is going to go for a brand new one, and they don't take outside parts. So obviously I went for the brand new one, took the credit that the extended warranty was going to pay for the used one to apply it to the brand new one from the dealership. And then luckily they also had one in stock locally, so I didn't have to wait for one to get shipped from fucking Canada.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
that
nice.
got installed, and I picked it up yesterday. But let me fucking tell you how that went.
Oh shit.
So I left to go pick that up. Oh my God, bro. You know what? Hang on. I'm gonna fucking bring it up so we can all look at it together here. So I go and sign the paperwork, do the payment and all that shit, right? They go to pull my truck around. And once it's coming around the corner, I go from happiness to, you've got to be fucking kidding me, because I had to stop the fucker that was driving it, because this is what I see coming around the corner. Tell me, I'm not even going to point it out. Tell me if you see what's wrong.
Your track bar's hanging.
I had to stop that fucker from driving because I was like, and then I was like, hey, stop. And he was like, okay. And I waved at him. I was like, hey, come here. And he starts driving forward. I was like, fucking stop. Dude didn't speak English. So I go find my rep inside. I was like, hey, man, you need to come out here. He comes out. He's like, what's going on? I was like, look. And he was like, sir, do you want a loaner? I'll get you a loaner. I'm so sorry. I'll get this address right now. Like, I am so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. Goes against the shop foreman. Apparently what had happened, or what they were saying, when they installed it, the locking nut on it was a little stripped. So when they started driving off, the bolt vibrated out of it. I don't know, but they were able to grab another locking nut, get underneath it real quick, and just put it back on there. But I was like, you guys are lucky that it was hanging low enough for me to see before I fucking took off.
You would have felt like whenever you were driving on the highway, you would have felt it like right away. You would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I'm just glad I was
here.
there. I'm just glad I saw it right fucking there. It's like, oh God.
Oh yeah. Damn. Well, you got your truck back.
I got my truck back.
Yeah. That's nice. No. It's always nice to have your truck back. Hell,
got
fucking, I told you could have
full-blown tranny.
Yeah. I told you could have used my fucking Slam Dodge. That would have been fun for you to drive around Dallas in.
You're too far away.
For a fucking couple weeks. You fucking, it's not that.
I don't live in Dallas. Far away.
Well, with that fucking
Put some
beanie, you look
goddamn
gay
respect
like
on
you
the fact
do.
that I don't live in Dallas.